Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, however you are, wherever you are. Welcome to another edition of Aaron Smith Can't Lose. Recording on this Sunday afternoon, August 13th, 2023. I'm your host, Aaron Smith. It's another day in America. What does that mean to you? So, it's been a couple of weeks since I did a show. A lot going on, a lot of, appointments and, my daughter, she's teething now, and my wife, she had to go to the dentist too. Everybody got teeth problems, apparently, except for me. I know it's coming though. I feel my jaw feeling kind of funny. And I'll get to that eventually. But anyway, everybody's fine. Everybody's home, resting, happy, and healthy. And that's the most important thing. So, I'm just going to talk about a few things and do what we usually do here on the show. This is unfiltered. This is unrated. This is real. This is raw. This is how we do it off the top of my head. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to be I'm always honest, but I'm going to be a little bit more honest today because, quite honestly, I don't care, and I'm just going to just get things off my chest and just be real. So, you ready? All right, here we go. So, where do we begin? So, my favorite person in New York City, Mr. Eric Adams, I don't call him mayor because a mayor would actually do something. He would do his job and he wouldn't be complaining to Joe Biden about government funds for migrants who came here and I feel for them too, and I've been homeless and helpless too, and I feel for these individuals because he's not doing right by them either by having them go from shelter to shelter, from place to place. Some sleeping in the streets. You've seen the news. If you're not, Google it. They were out there like a couple of weeks ago, like waiting for beds, and people are still coming. Every day they're still coming. And they're going to be here, they said something to like 2025, 2026. That's like whole 2-3 years from now. They're going to be here, and tax dollars, New Yorkers like myself, my wife, people I know who live here, friends and family of mine, I have to flip the bill for this shit. And that's just not right. It's dead wrong, and to be honest with you, there needs to be a better solution. They don't have a solution. They just figure they stash them somewhere. And, eventually they pass them off. And then, I see some of these mothers with their babies on their backs, and they're selling candy now. And that's just fucked up. It's fucked up. It's really just dead wrong. They came here for better opportunity, better things, and, most of them probably get the bare minimum, and then they're on their own. And that's just the plan. This is the big deal. And this is not a Democratic thing. This is not a Republican thing. This is a human being thing. And, like I said, I got a family. I have a wife. I have a daughter. I understand. But there's got to be some common ground here where they can be taken care of. But, somebody needs to just help compensate for this, because honestly, this makes no sense. But it's not going to happen, because this guy who's walking around like la-di-da, he's not a mayor, he's a game show host, and a bad one, wearing all these goofy $1,000 suits that Steve Harvey probably sold to him in a bargain, probably like a rummage sale or something, And like I said, I have no hate in my heart for this man. I have no problem with, this man, for the simple fact that he doesn't do his job and that he's a bumbling idiot. And I know many people in New York probably feel the same way. Whether you a Democrat or Republican or whatever. This is not about politics. It's just common sense. And quite honestly, this man does not have any, because he's dancing around in Harlem and doing like these events and all this other stuff. You know, Dominican Day Parade is today. Shout out to all the Dominicans today. Hope you enjoy your day out here in New York. He's probably there, like la-di-da. And what the hell is with him wearing these goofy shirts with mayor on them and with his name on the front and hat and thing, like no one knows who he is by now. Like with that big ass forehead he has, you can't miss it. Looking like a black Ninja Turtle. But anyway, like I said, people, these are just jokes. Do not take offense to it. And in fact, if that's the case, if you want to, go ahead, because I really don't give a shit. You know, it is what it is. To be honest with you, if you find it funny, cool, God bless you. If you don't, God bless you as well, because honestly, like I said, this is America, and anybody can say what they want to say and how they want to say it. So if that's how you feel, if you're offended, this is Aaron Smith Can't Lose. This is a podcast. I've been doing this for over 100 years. It feels like that. 6 seasons. This is the final season. So whatever. The people that listen to me, the people that know me, this is who it is. Like I said, I like to read people. I like to, you know, see who you are and how you are and how you go about yourself. And if I'm not feeling you, then cool. If I am feeling you, that's cool too. But, you know, no ill will, no hard feelings done. But to be honest with you, you know, it is what it is. So I just don't get it with this guy. And he's going to be reelected. You know, he's got hundreds and thousands of voters right now that, you know, with these migrants. I don't think they can vote. But I know they have families. And more than likely they're going to vote for him because, you know, he sees to cater to certain people. He knows what he's doing. He may be not smart when it comes to politics, but he ain't stupid. He knows exactly what he's doing. And, you know, the people that support him, they'll vote for him. I'm having buyer's remorse, honestly. You know, I did support him in the last election. I mean, realistically, I could have stayed home because he went in like a landslide. But his competition was no better. Curtis Sliwa, the founder of the Guardian Angels, and nothing against Sliwa. I have no issues with him as well. You know, but you know, when you support a certain person and policies, you know, on a national scale, most people shy away from that. You know, we already know who that is. We're talking about Senor Trump, and you know, realistically, he's got his own problems now. He done been indicted 3 times, and you know, like he's like on that gangster shit. You know, he don't give a fuck, and you know, he may or may not get off. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? He may be the first indicted and incarcerated president, a candidate. Who knows? Like, that'd be some shit only in America. That sounds like Don King right now. Only in America. Yeah. Don King's not around anymore. You know, most boxers, you know, promote themselves. So, you know, he made his money. But let's go back to the subject at hand. The bottom line is, if I can retort, that this man has no reason and no means about him. He really shouldn't be mayor, but he is, and we're stuck with him until we find somebody else, if he gets out of there, but I doubt it. And with crime and homelessness and mental illness and all this stuff going on, which all these things that affect me on a daily basis, because I have to see these people outside and what they're dealing with, and I personally have dealt with this myself. He don't give a shit, and people are looking like la-di-da. It's to the point where people are so used to people sleeping in train stations and train cars and out in the street that you're just walking past them by. And that, my friends, is fucked up. Excuse me for cursing, but that's terrible. It's like inhumane. And it's to the point where it's like, whatever. And then most of these people are dangerous, and you gotta watch yourself. Because you may be next. There's victims every day, all the time. Where I live at, it ain't too bad. A little ratchet, but whatever, fuck. But a home's a home. And God bless everybody that has one. And that I'm grateful that I have one too. For my family, my wife, my daughter, And shout out to those that don't have that, and I pray one day that you do. But New York is terrible right now. It is on fire. And this water, it nothing. The water, sand, ain't gonna put this out right now. And I personally, this is like I said, this is just my experience. This is how I feel. You may feel the same way. You may not. It is what it is. Like I told you earlier in the show, this is just my opinion. You can take it or you can leave it. And that is that for this segment. So we're going to take a quick break. And we'll be right back to talk more shit. This is Aaron Smith Can't Lose. And we're back. I thank you for still tuning in. I thank you for listening. Shout out to all the people that listen to my podcast, all 5 of you. And this is Aaron Smith Can't Lose. And you can find it on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts. There is also on iHeartRadio and wherever fine podcasts are. I've said podcast before. I don't know where I came from before. I really don't understand why I always say that. Maybe I need to calm myself down when I talk. Sometimes I get a little excited. Excuse me. Forgive me. But there is no podcast. I don't even know what the fuck a podcast is. It's a podcast that I have, though. Aaron Smith Can't Lose. Check us out. So, what else is going on? Well, we talk, I need to get off of this Adams thing, but it's kind of hard when you're directly dealing with this asshole. And I mean that lightly. He might be a nice guy. I don't know him. I really honestly, a personal persona may not reflect who you actually are. But it actually also might be a little worse. But let's get off of that, dude. So, it's like, sometimes you just have to sit back and reflect. And you have to understand that you can't be the same person you were before certain life events change your life. As I said before, my daughter has changed my perspective as a person, and I have to do right by her. There are certain things that I used to do that I can't do anymore. There are certain things I like to say that I can't say anymore. However, I will always tell her when she gets older, and I was going to continue to do this for myself, that if anything needs to be said and heard, you don't sugarcoat anything. You say what you have to say, and you speak your mind. You speak the truth. You speak it freely. As long as you don't endanger yourself or bring a danger to others, then there's no problem with telling the truth. There are instances where sometimes that is not the case. And that is perfectly fine as well. But that's when you also have common sense. That's right. Common sense. It's so rare that it's a superpower. That's been said many times before, over and over again on memes, worldwide on the internet. Because it appears to me that the ignorant people, the silly people, the goofy motherfuckers are lauded and celebrated. Like stupidity is king. It's like not just New York City, but the United States as a whole has just become strange. I don't know exactly what it is. And like I said, I concern myself with this because I worry for my daughter as she gets older, as she asks us questions about anything. It seems, and I want to make it that point that she can talk to me about anything. And her mother has made that point about that we talk to her openly, freely. But there are certain things that children are exploited to that I wasn't shown until I was a little older to understand these things. Whereas now here in 2023, children of a younger age, I'm talking not teenager, I'm not talking high school, I'm talking the little babies, like, are like being shown all these sexual and perverse things that they shouldn't be exploited to. What happened to a kid being a fucking kid? Playing in the dirt, in the sandbox, eating their boogers. Now they gotta worry about their sex and their gender? Like, what in the actual fuck? Like, what's up with that? I mean, I don't get that. Like, you're free to believe whatever you want, and raise your children however you want. That is your child. But that's just not for me. My daughter, who was born a female, will be a female. That's just what it is. Now, if she's older and she decides to do whatever she wants to do with herself, then that's perfectly fine. We will support her no matter what she is, what she wants to do. But as a child, as a baby, she is the responsibility of myself and my wife. And this ain't no political thing. This is the problem I have with people. We need to stop politicizing everything. Not everything is a serious issue. Well, what I just talked about is very serious, but that is an interpersonal issue. That is an interrelational issue where it comes to a family. A family should decide what they need to do within the family. No one outside the family should, what's the word I'm getting at? Influence the family. I'm talking about celebrities, politicians, nobody. Even sometimes some family members, people inside the family can influence that. But the bottom line is, when it comes down to it, it's between the mother and the father have to decide who's gonna what's gonna happen to their child until they're old enough to do it for themselves. That's just common sense. But again, common sense is so common, and I may come off as a Republican, the Democrats, and the Democrats are Republicans. I'm neither. I realized that a long time ago that these political parties are all about one thing and one thing alone. Themselves, and how to stay in power and to keep in power. And until that day happens where people understand that there is no difference between the two, well, hey, that's on you. You know? The left wing and the right wing are on the same bird. I believe that's an old Indian proverb. But I digress. I've been holding this in for a very long time because I felt that nobody would listen, nobody would care, nobody would give a shit, because I only talk to people who I trust about this. But I don't give a crap anymore. I am done. This is my last season. I'm going to let it all hang out. I believe that God has given me a gift to say what's on my heart, what's on my mind, and, you know, it is what it is. And it's like I said, I told you guys earlier, I watch what I say, but I'm going to say what I want to say anyway. Like, this is not to come off as threatening. This is not to come on as well, some may deem it offensive because they don't agree with what I have to say. That's fine. This is America, ladies and gentlemen. You're allowed to have a different opinion. You're allowed to talk differently, regardless of whatever people say. Unfortunately, if you're not in a certain group or a certain position or a character in a position or a person of power in a position, or you're just not down with it, excuse me, yeah, you're going to be labeled antisocial. You're going to be labeled deviant. You're going to be labeled a zealot. You're going to be labeled a bigot. They will be a racist. You're going to be labeled these things. Because that's what everybody's good at. Pointing fingers and being offended. That's the problem. Unfortunately, that's what it is. I believe that, I just gotta laugh things off because you gotta laugh sometimes. I tell my wife that all the time. You gotta laugh shit off because otherwise you'll go freaking crazy. You'll lose your freaking mind. And I get conflicted as well because I'm a firm believer in God. I believe that Jesus Christ is my Savior. I love the Lord. I love God. I pray every day. And I ask everybody to give themselves to Him, give your life to Jesus, and accept Him as your Lord and Savior. And you will be saved, because He's coming soon. I believe that. Oh, I also believe in free will. I also believe that if you do not believe in these things and you do not accept these things, that is your choice too. It's perfectly fine. You have that choice. That's what America is all about. Unfortunately, like I said, you've been labeled. I've been labeled. It is what it is. You can't force people to accept a certain thing about them, about what you would do, and put it on other people. That's what I believe. And it just tickles me that, a lot of these Christianity folks, people, who are supposed to be so welcoming and so caring and loving and open arms, they're not. And that's why a lot of these churches are the way they are. They ain't about God. And I haven't had a church home in years. And me and my wife are still looking for one. But we're not going to stop loving God. We're not going to stop loving the Lord. And we're going to continue to do that. I sound like a whole red state politician right now, but whatever, it's fine. That's what certain people would say about me. And the thing is, I'm not a fan of people who have, if you're gay, if you're a homosexual, I'm not really for that. However, that's your life. If that's how you want to be, that's on you. That's part of free will. And, a lot of things that's being forced on children as well. And I find that dead wrong. And the problem I have with that is, like I said earlier, let a kid be a kid, man. The hell with all that. They don't need to be worrying about their bodies. They don't need to be worrying about who they like, who they don't like. They don't need to be worried about any of that shit. They need to worry about being a kid, being happy and enjoying the kid, not paying bills, and not worrying about anything but playing with their toys and laughing and giggling and having a good time, enjoying themselves, growing, learning, developing. None of this sick shit that's out there. And like I said, I'm very concerned. My wife and I are very concerned when it comes to, as my daughter gets older, because this is going to get really bad really soon. I'm a firm believer in the Bible. I'm a firm believer in what the Bible says. And I believe that this world is coming to an end and Jesus is coming back soon. That's what I believe. And if you don't get right with God, then that is your fate and that's what you have to deal with. I've held this in for such a long time, and I've, felt ashamed and felt like, oh, I may lose friends, I may lose people and that, but hey, I'm okay with that. And the thing is, if you don't agree with me, that's okay too. I'm not going to treat you no other way. I'm going to respect you as you would respect me. If you don't respect me, that's fine too. Because I really don't give a damn anymore. And at the end of this month, I will be 40 years old. That's a big number for somebody like myself who's gone through a whole lot of things. Like I said, homelessness I've been through, mental health issues, depression, suicidal ideations. I've been through all kind of shit like that. I've been hospitalized. Like I said, I'm just pouring my heart out here. This is how I feel. This is who I am. And I had said this to several. I haven't said this to only several people. Only 3 people know about everything: my mom, my wife, and God. That is it. But I'm just gonna just be myself. and be honest, because that's how I believe I should. Because this is my last season, and I am so happy. Did I accomplish what I want in this podcast? Yes and no, but I'm happy with it. Just like my comedy career, and I'm going to get there. And if I don't, that's fine too. I am going to enjoy just me and my family, and I put my family over myself anyway. So, like, I'm going to be 40, and I didn't think I'd get there. It's just like, wow, and I know a lot of people, like myself, they feel me on that, especially with a lot of things going on in this world. It makes you think. But, and all the people are just sick of it, just sick of everything. But you're going to be all right. It's going to be okay. I will continue to pray for people. I could pray for anyone. I pray for people that I don't like. And God says love everybody. That's the hardest job to do. And I'm not good at that. But I'm working on it. Wow, this is great. I feel so much better that I got it off my chest, and it feels good to be open and honest with a bunch of strangers who, well, as like I said, the fiery that listen to me, I appreciate y'all. But those that don't know me, this is who I am. And this is who I always wanted to be. And I never was like this, but I'm going to be. I'm going to live the right way and the right life for my daughter, for my wife, and myself. And I enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it. It's just great. Just great. Well, I guess there's nothing else much to say then. We're going to continue this another time. I want to thank you all for listening. I want to thank you for watching, wherever you are, however you are. This is Aaron Smith. Can't lose. I'm out. God bless.